You guys, we are doing a listener survey giveaway. If you guys want to enter, go into the episode summary and click on the link for more details.
Welcome to GlowJob, the beauty podcast that's more than skin deep. We're the only podcast to make you hotter and smarter.
Hey everybody, welcome to our very last episode of season 1 of GlowJob.
I cannot believe the end of the year is already here. What a year it's been.
So let's do a recap of the biggest beauty news and our favorite brands and products from 2025.
And we're going to end the episode with a bunch of really punchy, just kind of insider stories that you may have missed just from the GlowJob duo.
So to kick it off, 2026 was the year of billion-dollar transactions.
I feel like we saw the B word literally in every other headline.
I know.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Of course, like the biggest transaction of this year was e.l.f. acquiring Rhode. You guys have heard us talk about this a million times over.
Yes, but they did it for $1 billion. And, it was one of the fastest billion-dollar transactions the beauty industry has ever seen. And they just keep crushing it. They're doing so well at Sephora right now.
And that $1 billion acquisition, it was a combo of not just cash, but stocks and earnout. So it wasn't like $1 billion was just handed to them right away. But the valuation matters.
And even trumping the Rhode acquisition was the one of Caring Beauté by L'Oreal, because that one came in at $4.8 billion.
Woo, that is a big number.
And they got a lot for it, right? Like so many different luxury fragrance houses, Creed, Bottega Veneta, Alexander McQueen.
The Gucci license.
There we go.
And L'Oreal was on a spree last year. They even acquired Medicaid for $1 billion.
Another $1 billion transaction was Dr. Squatch. Unilever acquired them.
But the biggest deal of the year. Okay, this one blew our minds. It was Kenvue being acquired by Kimberly-Clark for a whopping $48.7 billion.
And that one was wild, but it wasn't just beauty. There were so many household brands within that transaction, literally the entire drugstore, if you ask me, because it's like Huggies, Tylenol, everything in between, Aveeno, Neutrogena. And we do have one honorary mention. They didn't quite hit that $1 billion mark, but we got to talk about Touchland.
This was an $880 million total earnout with $700 million cash up front. This is a sweet, sweet deal for some hand sanitizers.
Crazy. Next, let's break down some of the biggest scandals and just like PR fires of the year. Because, oh my God, did sunscreen have a bad year?
Ooh, sunscreen had so much bad press this year. First up is Tower 28 and the release of their mineral sunscreen that they touted as quote unquote, no white cast.
What a flop. There was so much immediate pushback, especially from people with darker skin tones, because they would put that on. No white cast? Are you kidding me? They look like Casper the Ghost.
Yep.
And honestly, I really think the team did not handle this well whatsoever. I would be so embarrassed. But basically, they just said, we did test on, creators with darker skin types. They would really only dab on a tiny bit of the sunscreen to the back of their hand and blend it in. And come on, that much sunscreen, that's not actually going to give you a realistic idea of whether or not you get a white cast.
You need to do like a teaspoon amount on your entire face. Like that is a very different experience than a little dab on the back of your hand.
But mineral sunscreen is honestly such a trip to have to deal with when it comes to formulation. We got to talk about all of the Australian sunscreens because they had the worst year.
Ultraviolet. Oh, it makes me so sad because I really loved that mineral sunscreen. Ultraviolet being tested by a third party and finding out that all of their SPF ratings were actually way, way lower than what was touted on the label.
They said that they had a 50 SPF, but they were only giving an SPF of 4, according to some tests. And unfortunately, Ultraviolet did get the brunt of all of this drama, but it was so many Australian sunscreens because I think they all use the same lab, same manufacturers, something related to that because there were Bondi Sands and all of these other brands. But, Ultraviolet, they had just launched at Sephora. And I think that's why they were kind of the main headline when all the scandal broke down.
So all of those Australian brands use the same white labeler. So they all had the same formula. And like you said, Julia, like Ultraviolet got the brunt of it because they were probably the most well-known in the United States. It's like Sephora, all the editors were talking about it. I mean, it was a really lovely product, but so many Australian brands we found out were all using the exact same formula.
I mean, that's what's going to happen, right? Yeah. But other than that, there was also the whole scandal with the mousse SPF.
Oh, yeah.
The FDA officially said that your sunscreen can no longer come in that super fun whipped cream can. So it was brands like Vacation, Supergoop also had one, but they had to pull all of those whipped cream cans from shelves.
And finally, not a sunscreen, but a closure by Youthforia, which last year got a bunch of flack about their black paint foundation, and subsequently such bad press, such bad consumer reviews that now they have closed.
RIP. And they weren't the only ones, right? There was Ren Beauty. There was also Flower Beauty. And am I missing anything? Oh my God.
Ami
Cole. There we go.
RIP. That one's sad.
Oh, sad. But, let's end it on a little bit of a high note. Obviously, there was a ton of bad stuff that happened to this sunscreen, but there are rumors that we might get a tin sorb next year. So that could be a little silver lining for all our sunscreen lovers out there.
Yes. Apparently, it's slated to be approved by like June, July of next year. So that means we may be able to see advanced formulations by year end, actually.
Oh, I'm sure some of the big companies with the big budgets and the fancy labs, they already have their formulas ready to go. The packaging is ready. Secondary packaging is ready. And just for all of our listeners, just as a reminder, the tin sorb is that key star ingredient in so many of the iconic Korean sunscreens. So again, all this really hints to is that our sunscreens are going to get better.
All right. So let's talk about some trends that really define 2025. I want to start first with Labubu, because Labubu took over everyone's feeds. Hey, whether you liked it or you hated it, you saw it and you interacted with Labubu somehow.
I got to admit, I officially own my first Labubu.
Oh my gosh. Your Labubu cherry has been popped.
I know. I was putting off the Labubu for the longest time, but I got it as a gift. I don't really know what to do with it because I feel like the trend is kind of over, but it was insane. This Labubu craze, the Labubu Birkin obsession. Yes. I mean, Pop Mart made billions of dollars this year off of keychain toys.
I did a reel about that. That guy became one of China's youngest billionaires because of Pop Mart and specifically because of Labubu.
It is insane. And they're still really hard to buy in the States.
That's wild.
And next, this is my personal favorite trend, but this whole blind buying phenomena of people, especially Gen Z, hearing about a fragrance online and then just going and snapping it right up, even if it costs hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
I get fed TikTok ads all the time and I'm always so tempted, but I very rarely pull the trigger. So it blows my mind that people do this with fragrance. You don't even know. I mean, you can read the notes, but you don't really know what something smells like till you smell it.
No, and it smells different on every person. So I would never blind buy a fragrance. But I don't know. This is Julia speaking in 2025. Who knows what we're going to say in 2026?
Another huge trend that we saw, science washing, aka marketing's new greenwashing. And we did a whole episode about this, about how science washing is becoming the big buzzy thing in skincare. I mean, look at Medicate and the acquisition. That was really one of our more popular episodes of this year. So you guys, if you haven't watched it, check it out.
And the last trend that we got to mention is being skinny. I mean, GLP-1 was probably the word of the year. I can't count how many celebrities, acquaintances, etc., that have just mysteriously lost 20 pounds or more this year.
And skinny is not just about the bodies. It's the brows. It's the bags. I mean, you see my favorite purse. It's one of those East-West long, skinny baguette bags.
Yeah, the baguette bag.
We are beauty lovers through and through. So we have to tell you guys all of our favorite products from this year. And we're going to go into skincare, makeup, hair care, fragrance, body care, the whole shebang.
And a lot of these are new products to us, but some of these are just our tried and true staples. But let's start with skincare.
So let's start off first with cleanser. My favorite was the IS Clinical Cleansing Complex.
And mine was the Lemieux Brightening Cleanser.
My toner was the Mixune Centella Asiatica Essence.
And my toner was the Isla Beauty Elixir.
For my serum, I've been super into the Sunboon Editor Marine Astaxanthin Capsule Serum.
And for my serum, so hard to pick, but the Lemieux EGF DNA.
For moisturizer, the Saatchi Skin Future Veil Peptide Cream.
And for my moisturizer, the Lemieux BioCell Rejuvenating Cream.
And for SPF, my favorite recently has been the Lightsaber Triple Sum Serum Sunscreen Mineral SPF 40.
Mine was also a mineral. It was the One Skin Face SPF. And now onto makeup, but starting off with eyebrows, my favorite, tried and true, the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow.
Yeah, you know what? I get it. Because my brow is also Anastasia Beverly Hills, but it's the Brow Powder Duo, and I've been using it forever.
Moving on to eyeshadow, obsessed with the Dior Backstage palette.
And my eyeshadow is the Kaja Bento Bouncy Trio in neutral.
And for eyeliner, a drugstore staple has always been the Milani, their waterproof eyeliner.
And for my eyeliner, I use the Clay Cosmetics liquid liner.
Next, mascara. I love Iris and Romeo.
Mascara for me, Sorelli Horse Lashes.
Best name.
I love it. Obsessed.
For foundation, I cheated. I have two, but for daytime, I love the Clay Tinted Foundation. And for nighttime, Armani Luminous Silk Foundation.
I also use the Clay Cosmetics Tinted SPF as my daytime, but my real foundation that I really love is the Poom Foundation, and I use the makeup spatula.
So good. For concealer, I am obsessed with Juillet.
And my concealer is the Makeup Forever Skin Sculpting Palette.
Onto cheeks, I love my Danessa Myrix blush.
And for me, it's the Shoshi blush.
And for highlighter, I love the pressed powder highlighter from Prada.
And I'm obsessed with the Rare Positive Light Silky Touch highlighter.
Onto setting spray, I cannot live without the D'Alba Mist.
And mine has to be the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray.
And lastly for lip, I love my Orsay lip gloss.
Mine is the Violette FR Lip Nectar. Let's move on to fragrance because it has been the year of fragrance. So currently, I have been mixing two scents back to back, Heretic Dirty Grass and Dead Cool's Fragrance No. 4 Femme.
And my fragrances, I have been loving the Kayali Musk Latte and Byredo Mumbai Noise.
And now let's talk hair, because we did a whole deep dive on the rise of hair care earlier this year. And so for me, I am using the Away Curly Bath Shampoo, the Crown of Air Texturizing Air Dry Mousse for my curls, and I'm also taking the Array supplements to help with my graying hair.
And for me, shampoo, the Dr. Ford Hair, it's a K-beauty brand. I've been obsessed with that flyaway stick that we got from 11 Hair. Use it every time. And the Amika Dry Shampoo.
And lastly, for body, I am very religious with one of those Korean body scrubbers. I use them all the time.
They're so good.
So good. I've also been really into the Fenty Whipped Body Cream, delicious smell, and the Honey Water Balm Spray, an amazing product.
And for my body routine, every single time I'm using the Ordinary Glycolic Toner in the 7%. Everywhere, and then I follow up with the Kiehl's moisturizer.
And you can shop all of our favorites at our GlowJob Podcast Shop My.
And now it is time. We are pleased to announce our inaugural GlowJob Awards, where we are touting the best and the worst across beauty. But let's kick it off with the best breakout launch of the year.
Whether you hate her or love her, Miss Hailey Bieber, she did something right with the Rhode launch at Sephora. And that, my friends, is why they are the winners of the best launch by GlowJob.
You know, we actually did field trips. Both of us went to separate Sephoras just so we could see the craze for ourselves. And it was insane. Everything was sold out.
I know.
And now for the worst launch of the year, Shay Mitchell and her gimmicky skincare line for toddlers with Reenie. What a shame.
So bad.
I mean, talk about things that people just don't need in their lives.
Next up, biggest glow up of the year. And this one, she goes to.
And I mean, we all saw it coming, but it's got to be Miss Kris Jenner.
Woo, that is one good glow up. You guys, we had plastic surgeon Dr. Giannis of 111 Skin come on to GlowJob and tell us about how he has seen a precipitous rise in the demand for facelifts and neck lifts among patients. And he broke down exactly how that deep plane facelift of Kris Jenner's was done.
And what I think shocked me the most about that is he's been noticing so many more patients coming in their 20s. Next up, this is our award for the biggest beauty comeback of the year.
And this one has to go to Miss Diara of Ami Cole, getting back onto her feet and now being the VP of Skims Beauty.
What an exciting opportunity for her. Regardless what you have to say about Kim Kardashian and Skims, it was evaluated at a $5 billion mark earlier this year. So Diara's landing in a really good spot.
And it's cool to be able to see someone who is so beloved by the industry having a seat at a brand that is this big. I mean, I'm excited to see what they come out with.
Yeah.
Next up, let's do best packaging and worst packaging of 2025.
So for best packaging, we have Rare Beauty and their brand new fragrance. Cute bottle, cute scent. It's a gourmand, but it still blows my mind that, you know, this product, it launched in August. And by a couple months later, they were one of the top 20 best-selling perfumes in all of Sephora. And, you know, the packaging is cute, but it's really also focused on accessibility. And for people with mobility issues are going to be able to use it. So Love it.
And the worst packaging goes to Louis Vuitton Beauty. And they're like, what, $250 lipstick? This such a bland little teeny tiny bottle. I don't get it.
And it wasn't even that luxe. For $250, I want my mind blown. And now it's time for our best and worst marketing campaigns of the year.
The best marketing campaign, and this is honestly multiple campaigns, but it has to go to The Ordinary. And we're talking about their egg campaign that they did when eggs were selling for like almost $15.
Yeah.
They also did this like crazy cash pile money pop-up where basically like they were showing, instead of spending all their money on influencer marketing, this is all the money that they saved and put towards the actual product. And you literally walked through this pop-up with just like cash piles everywhere. It was so fun.
And the worst campaign of the year was anything that Sydney Sweeney touched. Honestly, like what a bunch of misses. Like she tried to do so much stuff this year, but her whole bath water was squash. Like that was disgusting. And also her really controversial American Eagle campaign. Ugh. But she stands on 10 toes for that.
Oh, she does. I mean, I think some people were like super into that American Eagle campaign, but then subsequently when you looked at sales for American Eagle, they took a hit from that.
You know, they saw a little bit of an increase in the beginning. Yeah. I think they did sell out of the jeans that she was talking about, but after the backlash, that's when they really saw.
You guys, we started GlowJob this past February, so we're almost going to become 1 year old. But in the process of doing GlowJob, Julie and I have had our fair share of fun and crazy stories.
So many, too many to count, but we have highlighted some of our favorites. So let's just kick it off with, our first main event of the year. But we launched GlowJob with this really amazing party. And I know it's been almost a year now, but I'm kind of still on a high from it.
Yeah, it was so much fun. We rented out this art gallery in Culver City. And honestly, we cold emailed everyone who came to our party. We had like over 200 people. And Julie and I were just like, okay, how do we fill a room with this many people?
I was shocked at how many people showed up. I was not expecting it. Same. I was like texting my mom and my best friends. And I'm like, you better show up to this. But it was awesome. And we were riding on such a high that weekend because that was the week we also made it to Spotify's new and trending list.
Yes, I remembered that. We were at that conference when we got the notification. It was so fun.
I know.
So, we have plenty of highs from GlowJob, but we also have run into our fair share of kind of like random hilarious moments. And I'm thinking, you know what I'm talking about? Okay, so one time we were working with a brand.
A clothing brand?
Yes, a clothing brand. And they were really gracious to send us a thank you gift. And I remember coming home and I see this package and I open it. I'm like, oh, I wonder what this is. And I see it's from the brand. And there's a little card that says, Sasa and Julia, thank you so much for your partnership, blah, blah, blah. Here's a little something for a token of appreciation, something along those lines, right? So I open this bag and my hand goes in and I pull out this one-piece swimsuit, but just one one-piece swimsuit. And I'm looking at the card and it says both of our names and it's gifts for you. And I'm thinking like, are we expected to share?
Yes,
swimsuit?
It is now GlowJob communal property. I still have not gotten my chance to wear it, by the way, Sasa.
Wait, it's like sisterhood of the traveling pants, but sisterhood of the traveling swimsuit.
But, obviously we're so gracious for any type of gifting that we get. And we are thankful for the bathing suit. I personally do not share bathing suits with my girlfriends, but can't wait to see it on you, Sauce.
It's like not the kind of bathing suit I would wear, but I just thought it was so hilarious. I don't know why. It's like, it was, addressed the two of us. And then so many people have like called us, just like they've interchanged our names, or like one time we were walking down the street postering when like early of GlowJob. And this guy comes up to us and he's like, hey, are you two girl sisters? And before I can even say anything, Julie goes, yes, we are.
Why not? So also throughout GlowJob, we've been able to meet some really impressive people, but a couple of times I was actually kind of starstruck.
Oh, same. Yeah.
I think my favorite is when we were at this huge fashion award. I still don't know how we got on that guest list, but Sasa and I were waiting in line to get our photos taken on our red carpet. And this girl comes up behind us and she's just wearing this super otherworldly outfit. It literally had this like turtleneck that came up to her eyes where she could barely see over the top. And I remember just whispering to Sasa, who does she think she is? Chapel Rowan? And then Sasa goes, Julia, that is Chapel Rowan. And it was. She gave a really nice speech afterwards.
She was great. I loved that outfit. She looked very Shakespearean with the, it was like a collar thing that like covered her entire face.
Yes, not a turtleneck, a collar, but it was crazy because she did have the big iconic Chapel Rowan hair.
Yeah.
But oh my God, I was just like, these LA influencers are getting crazy.
They're all starting to look like Chapel Rowan. So that was a really cool experience getting to meet Chapel Rowan and like being in the high glitz and glam of things. But you know, at GlowJob, we are also full grit and just like making sure we're hitting the pavement, doing everything we can to grow this grassroots. And like I said before, like we poster occasionally around different parts of LA, and we just find that it's like a good way for people to just organically find us. But there was one time we were postering in Venice off Abbot Kinney, and we're going into some stores asking if it's okay if we put up a poster, you know, on their window, blah, blah, blah. And we enter this pizza shop. And, you know, we see the guy behind the counter at the pizza shop and like, he looks pretty chill. Like he's got tattoos and piercings.
He had a man bun.
Like we're thinking like, okay, this guy's chill, like whatever. So we go up to him, we're like, hi, excuse me. Like, can we put up our posters on like your community board? And he looks down at our poster and it says GlowJob. Like it has our logo and it says GlowJob. And he looks at the logo and then he looks at us and he goes, girls, this is a family establishment.
It honestly took us like a beat to actually realize like, why are you so against two girls just trying to live, you know, their entrepreneurial dream?
Yes.
I guess he thought it said blowjob.
Clearly he's dyslexic and could not read it. But like, we just kind of like suppressed laughs and we're like, okay, bye. But like, how hilarious is that?
That was so funny. But you know, honestly, postering was so much fun throughout it. This was good. We got our steps in. We did a little like guerrilla marketing. But one of the funniest things was our one-sided war with Jack Quaid.
Oh yeah.
So basically, as we were posting, especially, I don't know who was doing his posters. I don't think it was him. But you know, when Sasa and I would walk up and down Santa Monica and Venice, we'd probably go once a month and put up posters. And we get all the good spots on all the best telephone posts. And one week, all of our posters were taken down and they were all covered with posters of Jack Quaid's podcast. And then, so, you know, we are kind, we're gracious. You know, we don't want to step on other people's toes. So we just put up another GlowJob poster. We don't take us down, but we put another one up. But then we come back again and again and again. And like, where are all of our posters going? And why is every poster of Jack Quaid? I still have beef. I'm still upset.
You know what? We're just going to keep postering. We got to hit the west side and the east side. So east side people, you'll see GlowJob soon enough.
And we always love when you guys tag us when you do see our posters around town. So please keep doing that. It makes me so happy.
Yes, please do. This next story I love because it is literally the epicenter of beauty and business, which is like everything that we're about. But basically, Julie and I were at this conference and we were talking to some industry folks. And there was this one woman who used to work at NYX Cosmetics. And she listens to the pod too. And she goes, oh my God, you guys, I have this crazy story. She goes, one of my girlfriends who still works at NYX, they were trying to launch a product earlier this year and they wanted to name it GlowJob. And as they were working on the product development side, their legal team was just checking to make sure all the trademarks were fine. And they came back to the creative team and were like, hey, you guys, we actually can't name this product GlowJob because there is a podcast out there that owns this trademark. So we got to call it something else. And they ultimately ended up calling it Jelly Job, which is a really weird name, but whatever. Anyway, the moral of the story is, this is why you trademark your stuff early. Julie and I got on that real quick and now we're protected. So I love that NYX wanted to use our name, but next time they should call us for a collab.
I honestly wish that would have happened, right? I'd be so down. Offer's still on the table, by the way, NYX.
Yes, we're always down for collabs, you guys. So if you have a good idea, just hit us up. We've also had so many fun guests on GlowJob this year. I'm so excited for next year's lineup because we got even more fun people coming on. You guys stay tuned. But we do have this one story where we had a guest. So we asked her our signature rapid fire question, which is marry, kill, hair, outfit, or makeup. And when we asked her this, without skipping a beat, she goes, Sharon Stone. And then we're like, wait. No, hold up. And we had to be like, wait, this is actually how the question works. And she goes, oh, okay, got it. And then when the interview wrapped, she didn't realize the mics were still hot, but she turned to her assistant and was like, what the hell is up with that Sharon Stone question? Julie and I just start laughing. And we're like, oh my gosh, this is too funny. It's a generational thing. I get it. Yeah, I get it.
I mean, you want to marry Sharon Stone, you want to Sharon Stone, but I think she was like hesitant because I don't think she wanted to kill her, but you know what I mean?
In that movie, Indecent Proposal, I mean, she plays kind of like a bad person. So you kind of want to marry and kill her in that movie.
Well, in that regard, it is a very good answer then.
Yes.
And then lastly, to wrap it up, some of the things that I really loved seeing this year, and I know it might sound a little conceited, but just seeing our name in the press, honestly, what an experience. Like young Julia, again, would just be so happy. We got so many mentions, whether it's Forbes, Business of Fashion, Yahoo, Beauty Independent.
And then we even got to go to that Meta event recently. That was so cool.
I know, that iconic little mini office at Meta.
Yeah.
I loved that thing.
Same.
Because you always see people and all the celebs that go visit Meta and they always like, why is everyone so obsessed with that little office?
But when you're sitting in it, it makes sense. It's like cute and you like take pictures. I get it. I get it now.
And another key highlight for GlowJob this year was the entire month of May where we got to partner with Fenty Beauty. We were their exclusive creator for all of their AAPI initiatives. And it was honestly so important and also kind of like healing for baby Julia. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really just being able to celebrate like Asian beauty. So we got to do so much. We met with their creative artistry director. We had her on the podcast. We had so many episodes about different Asian founders, Asian beauty standards, and we also got to work with a high school.
Yes. Wait, that was the really fun part. So we partnered with Alhambra High School here in Los Angeles, and we went to actually go speak to teenagers, which was so daunting. You guys, teenagers are crazy.
They're scary.
They're scary. And so we talked to a bunch of high schoolers and talked to them about beauty, business, self-care. And we also even talked about like career advice and starting the podcast because the kids at this high school were just starting their own podcast. And then at the very end of it, we also gifted them Fenty product and then walked them through like how to use the various products for their own self-care and skincare routines.
It was honestly so fun.
It really
I loved that.
I know.
So wholesome.
Yes.
GlowJob is wholesome.
And giving back to the community. I love when we are in touch with the community. It's just like such a grounding way to see like just real connections happening.
Yeah, we got to touch grass every once in a while.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to our final episode of GlowJob Season 1.
You guys, we just also want to say thank you so much for supporting us in this first year of doing the pod. We've had the chance to meet some of you guys in real life, and it's honestly the best experience. And when you guys comment on the podcast, on our Instagram page, on our TikToks, like it literally makes our day. And we love hearing from you guys. So if you have any feedback, feel free to DM us, email us at hello@glowjobpodcast.com. Just reach out. We want to hear from you guys.
We really do. And we cannot wait to see all of you in Season 2. If you have anything that you want us to cover, let us know.
And you guys, now we also do have a live AMA box on our website. Go to www.glowjobpodcast.com and be sure to submit any of your questions you have for us, and we'll do an AMA episode next year.
And happy holidays. We love you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.